Everybody, welcome into Roosters on Olentangy River Road in beautiful Columbus, Ohio. Spring is really here. Spring ball started for Ohio State. These guys aren't actually taking part anymore for the first time. Jonah Jackson, Branden, Bowen. I know you guys miss that spring ball opportunity to get out there and get rolling. I know you guys had to come check it out last week just because you missed it so much.
Oh, yeah. I mean, spring ball is a different beast. I mean, it's a lot of time to, develop your skills and everything like that, get ready for the season and all that. And so it's definitely a different experience, especially after being there the past 5 years, not being able to do that this year.
Down there, attacking and dominating. He's on his own T-shirt from Homage, Anthony Schlegel.
These are my people, man.
That's your people. You know he's ready for spring ball. You can tell he's got the pads on his shirt. This is Lettermen Live, brought to you by Roosters, hanging out down here, fun, casual conversation about Ohio State. And these two, I had to call in some reinforcements right here to protect me from you, Schlegs. I've got the big blockers, the leader from Ohio State in knockdown blocks last year right here. I'm safe. You can't get me this week.
I know it. Well, you know what? I would try because that was my favorite part of spring ball was just trying to dent their face masks in. And here's what I love about it, and I've mentioned this on the show before, is I would have loved to have gone against y'all's offensive line because you guys are absolute assholes, right? And I like that, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I want to see dudes finishing down the field. I've waited a long time to see an entire offensive line unit do what you guys did this season. I got excited watching it. Plus, I know your coach, Coach Stud, who is phenomenal, but just how you guys played the game, how violent you were, how you finished blocks, and you enjoyed it. I like that, and guess what? As a player, I want to go against the best. I want to feel the physicality because guess what? Pain is the indicator of life. Let's go.
I think that Jonah likes to dish out not only the punishment, but he's known to truck a little trash. You two going out on the practice field might be worth it.
Oh, that would have been so fun, man. That would have been amazing. That would have been amazing.
All right, we saw Branden, and he just did his first Buckeye Q with us. You see that on LettermenRow.com. He's got more coming. We got another one breaking him down, his pro prospects. Jonah, you've got a little bit different path. I've been going to bat for Branden. He got snubbed from the combine. He doesn't have to say it. I'll say it for him. You got to go through that process.
Because I just asked them all beforehand because I obviously didn't even watch the combine. Because that's how much I think it matters. This much, 0. All right, poof, David Copperfield.
What about the guy who was there? I think it might have mattered to him. Maybe it doesn't. Jonah, what did you think about your experience?
I definitely thought it's a great experience being able to go to that stage and hear your name called at the 40-yard dash line, and then not only that, the physical part, but getting to meet all the coaches, saying what's up to Ron Rivera and Coach Gruden and all those guys. You're like, wow, my dream is coming to fruition, and this is really happening.
When you're going in those meetings, you're just telling them that you guys missed out on Branden Bowen, or you got to come to Pro Day?
For sure. I've definitely gone to bat for Branden multiple times and other teammates as well, and just giving a great word and letting them know what kind of guys we have brewing in this program.
Yeah. Branden, for you, for anybody who hasn't watched that yet or the next one coming, what's the process like for you? You don't get that invite. You probably thought it was coming. But how do you get yourself ready, and Pro Day becomes the big focus for you?
I mean, it just adds more fuel to the fire. And also, I mean, we have 4 weeks I have 4 weeks more to prepare than people who went to the combine. So, I mean, it's just a better stage. I mean, Ohio State's a lot different than a lot of other places in terms of we have every single team that comes to our Pro Day. I think we had 100-something scouts come. We had 4 or 5 head coaches last year. We had GM. So, I mean, being snubbed from the combine, I'm not really worried about it at all. Just adds more fuel.
Yeah, and as I was telling him earlier, Andrew Norwell, guess what? He didn't go to the NFL combine. He's the highest paid guard in the National Football League. Because guess what? The combine, you guys could probably attest to, it's this, right? It's either a thumbs up, thumbs down, or middle of the road. I want to go look at more tape, right? And so when you go there, it allows you to have the opportunity to say, okay, when I come back for our Pro Day, maybe I don't need to do a bench, or I don't need to do a broad jump or run a 40 because I already did that. I like that time. I'll take it, and now I can focus more on my individual work, right? Whereas I got to go do it. It also shows, hey, I can go do all those things, put out great numbers, and do my position drills. And the good thing is, they're all going to be there. I think we had a lot more head coaches than 4. It was probably half the league, right? It was probably 8 GMs. But that's what Ohio State does, and it's going to be good on good. And the beauty is it'll just be y'all. You know what I'm saying? So all eyes will be on them for that 20, 25 minutes that they got, pushing each other, seeing how they handle their teammates, seeing how they finish, competing with one another within the drills, and that will really bring light to everybody because, again, that's why people come and watch Ohio State. They want to watch these type of guys compete at our Pro Day.
Right.
Jonah, I mean no offense to where you were before. You're a graduate of Rutgers, and you did great work there.
What was your undergrad in?
My undergrad was in criminal justice with a minor in labor relations.
What are you going to use with that? What are you going to do with that?
Well, originally I wanted to go into the FBI.
That's cool.
I wanted to do something like that, and then one thing led to another. I was like, I can branch into something else, and so I went to grad school, and I eventually want to become an athletic director, do something in broadcasting.
So what did you? What was your your?
It was in the sports management.
Oh
department.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's a great program.
Yeah.
Bam! See right there, man. Double degrees. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Well, anyway, what I was saying before Schlegel decided that he needed a little comedy for the show.
That's why I like the transfer portal.
To ask an NFL draft pick what he's going to do with his degree. Rutgers isn't going to have that
Good
amount
question,
of pro
yeah.
day. Like, how much of that, when you were weighing your decision at this time last year, or February, January, going through all that, was the audition opportunity that you might have, and how much did you weigh that? Was that part of your thinking?
Yeah, I mean, that just went into everything. That's like a small smidgen of what went into it, and the amount of stuff that Ohio State has had to offer and has offered me in my time being here. But yeah, that was definitely something that intrigued me. I was able to watch it on NFL Network and last year around this time. So, it's awesome to be all eyes on you at one point.
Brandon, can you believe that it's time for your pro day? I mean,
man, no.
4 or 5 years in the
when
program.
is pro day?
Yeah,
25th.
It's March 25th.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Schlegel's got his tickets ready now.
I'm ready. I'll
coming?
be there. Yeah, I'll be there. Heck yeah. I just like watching the guys perform, man. I just like watching
it's fun.
because I was there and I remember how fun it was doing it with your teammates, getting prepped, doing all the stuff, and like that's something that you don't ever forget.
Absolutely not. One thing about this process is like sometimes it's hard when you leave your own program. It's like trying to keep that competitive edge because you're so used to being around your teammates, and then all of a sudden you branch out to places where nobody's really together. And so, I mean, one of the things that was funny about me and Jonah was we put a little bet on our 40-yard dash time.
Uh-oh.
And so, we kept that little that competitive edge with each other, and just even though he's in Atlanta and I was out in San Diego, we kept that competitive edge with each other. So
most definitely, and I'm not planning on doing the 40 again at the pro day, but
that time's going to stand.
What was your time?
It was a 5.2. I don't feel like
cool.
that's
Guess
my
what?
best.
Guess what?
Yeah.
All right.
But if I see him run below the 5.2, I got to run again.
Oh,
he's got to peel the sweats
You're
back
warmed
up.
up. You're gonna be warmed up over on the side. Like I'm just waiting. I'm watching Brandon.
If he does any better than that,
what'd you get? Oh, you got a 4.19. I'm running. You have to stand up to your back like this.
And luckily he goes before me, so I have time to think about the decision.
I got it.
Wow, you got to let Coach Mick know that it might be a change to the format. We're going to throw in this guard. He's going to run a little bit because the tackle went 5-1.
Well, that's what we were talking about. Like, I want you guys to stay here. So, Coach Mick, let's get this popping. Yep. Let's keep all of our dudes here because that's the one thing that you guys miss. Tell us a little bit about what you guys learned from other schools, other athletes, and what they have versus what you guys have. Because that's something that we don't see because we're in the bubble of the Woody. Right. And then now you leave and you're training with other people.
Right.
Whether it's their intensity, whether it's their routine, whether it's being a pro, whether it's how they compete in the weight room. Like, give the viewers a little bit about that scope, that vision of what you guys were able to see in the places that you were training.
Well, being from a whole other school, like being at Rutgers and going through a different strength program, it's crazy to see like how much of an impact Coach Mick has had because the guy that was my strength coach, you worked with him as well. Coach
Kenny's my guy, yeah.
Coach Kenny Parker. And
he's back.
Everything he did, not everything, he put his own tweaks, but like a lot of what he did in his program was modeled after what Coach Mick did. And, that just speaks volume to his ability in being a strength coach and what he does in production of players year in and year out. So.
Yep, absolutely. What about the guys? What about the guys that you guys saw there versus you guys and your teammates?
Branden had a guy out there where he was going against someone from the other side of the rivalry, and you can tell that story, Branden. You opened your eyes a little bit.
Yeah, one of my really good friends from out there. I mean, I consider us really good friends now, but, I mean, we'll always have that little rivalry between us. But, just getting to know him and talking to him about his program and our program, you can really see the differences between us and them, and you really start to understand why we've had the success that we've had over the past 8 years. And but it was also at the same time having somebody from the Big Ten. We were the only two people from the Big Ten out there. We kind of pushed each other the whole process, so it was nice to have someone there that understood I guess, the career span and what we went through as players in that conference.
So what's the difference? I want to know what the difference is between the programs, between Ohio State. Not necessarily your buddy, but just like what is the difference between our program and how it set y'all up for success when you went there versus other programs and their guys? Like, was it more they had to catch up more faster? Like they had to catch up, have some more gains? Right? Because, again, like part of the deal is we're still lifting really heavy in season, and you leave, and yes, you're beat up, but the gains you got to go make to go do a 225, which is absolutely stupid because that's not ball, but like all those other tests that you got to do, like you're already kind of in shape for that, right?
Yeah,
So now it's more about getting healthy and doing that. So what's the difference between Ohio State, how you guys were set up for success, versus the other schools sending their guys to different locations to train?
I would just say the intensity. That was the biggest thing I noticed off the bat was just like the little things. We always, in this program, we stress the little things, +2, finish through the line, everything like that. And you just don't see that in other places, especially when I went to the Shrine Bowl.
Yeah.
It was interesting being able to see, like, people aren't running back to the huddle. Like, why aren't they why aren't they doing that? Like, why aren't they finishing plays? Like, why aren't they running after the ball? Stuff like that. As you start to notice, like, the really small stuff that you didn't necessarily know was a big deal while you're here because everybody did it.
Right. And that's the one thing Terry McLaurin was talking about on the Buckeye Cruise. It's the fact that you guys are already pros, and a lot of it, those guys are looking at, so who's the guy that I need to watch and do what they do, right, and emulate them. But, like, I'm already jogging back to the huddle because guess what? This is how it should be done.
Right.
So follow me, and automatically, boom, that separates you. I play in the East-West Shrine game too. Like, that's what separates you from that. Is like you're already a pro. You're already being a leader amongst other people that you have no relationships with.
Right.
But this is how I do it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's all I know.
All right,
awesome.
You guys don't get to be the leaders anymore down the street, right? You're done. I know you went and watched Branden. Jonah, there's 2 starting jobs that are open because you guys are staying here with us. What's going to shake out? I know it's the spring. There's training camp to go. What are you watching? Who do you think is going to emerge? Give us some names we need to watch.
Honestly, I feel comfortable with whoever they put out there because, Coach Stud and Coach Day and everybody on that staff will have them ready for just about anything because everything will get thrown at you come Saturday. But, young guys like Harry Miller, Matt Jones at the left guard spot, and then right tackle, Nick.
Yep.
Even the young guy Paris, he's showing strides at being possibly the next big thing or another great offensive lineman coming out of Ohio State. So, it's exciting to see all these guys develop and compete to see how the job will unfold.
Berm always talks about Paris Johnson's ankles. Thinks he's got skinny legs.
Dude,
hey,
those
Branden,
are
I know you know what I'm talking
fast
about.
twitch.
He's talking about it all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
I got skinny legs.
Guess what, man? It's because you're explosive and fast.
Yeah.
5'2" with your fame. I mean, I got skinny ankles too. Like,
okay, I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that's what Berm said. I'm just.
Yeah.
Why is Berm checking out his ankles? That's the real question.
he's the talent recruiting guru.
Yeah.
I'm just
I give that guy 5 stars because of his ankles and calves. Awesome.
Well, it's he's got the lean, the shin angles.
That's big time. That's cool.
All right. Well, Branden, you talked about this on Buckeye Q, but for people who haven't seen it, with Nick and Paris going at it in the spring, and you were just part of that position battle last year with Nick.
Right.
For people who don't know what it's like to go through that and still be as close as you guys are in the brotherhood and all that, how do you manage that? How do you get through a spring when you want to be the starter and you wanted it for your last year in the program? Now he wants it, and he's got this freshman trying to take it. How will that play out in Coach Stud's meeting room?
It's tough at first. I mean, it's tough to digest. You're in a room with somebody that essentially wants to take your job, and but at the same time, with Ohio State, the way we work, it's so big on the brotherhood, and so with that, you look past, that guy's trying to take my job. You just help each other, and in helping each other, you're helping yourself.
Yeah.
And so you go to bat every day. You compete, and I mean, whoever's the guy, I mean, I'm sure the other will be happy for him.
Iron, that's called iron sharpens iron.
No doubt.
By the way,
no doubt, and that's another comparison of like how Ohio State readies their guys for the NFL, because even something as simple as having a position battle, not simple, but in the position room, and then when you get to the league, you're trying to take another grown man's job. So it all is back and forth. So you're never comfortable, you're never getting complacent, you're always ready to do what you need to do to make that check and play ball.
Absolutely.
So. It's also like when you say iron sharpens iron, it's also across the line of scrimmage. I mean, I'm having these scouts ask me who's the best player I played against in this last year, and I'm telling them all Chase Young. Well, what about a different team? I'm sorry, it was Chase Young was the best player I played against, and it's just crazy to be able to go against somebody like that every day, and still, to be able to go against them every day and make each other better.
Yeah, competition breeds excellence, right?
Absolutely.
And that's it. He's making you guys better. And then you had Nick, and then you have all those other young guys like giving you looks all the time. There is no rest.
No.
You got to be on your A game, right? And that's what you got to have to be in the Big Ten and play in the college football playoff. You know, that's what you have to have.
Right.
Plus, you have that across the board now with the depth that we have at Ohio State, which is from recruiting, but it's also you guys bringing guys in, because that's one thing that gets guys to go to the transfer portal, right?
Absolutely.
If they come into a battle and there's a lot of friction and animosity because it's like I'm trying to go get this job versus, hey, I'm going to make you better, you're going to make me better. The best guy is going to win, but ultimately at the end of the day, the team's going to win.
Absolutely.
And at Ohio State, you only have to have 1 year.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like you have to have 3 or 4 years at another school, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's the beauty of what they're doing, but it starts with the guys in the locker room facilitating that culture and that relationship.
Yep. Right.
Jonah, when you got here, how much of that positional battle did you feel like there was? Because we spent all of last year, as soon as you decided that you were coming here, well, we penciled you in at that guard spot. We knew that's why they recruited you. Thought, well, that's going to happen. But when you got here on day one, did you feel like a starter right away? Was it a smooth transition? What did you feel like last August?
I definitely felt like once I stepped on campus, I had to compete. You know, I wasn't as in shape as other guys because I was training, but I wasn't doing what Coach Mick's doing. You know what I mean? So once I got there, I was kind of behind the 8 ball with just like being in shape and my conditioning. But then once we got the field work, it was definitely competition there. I had to show Coach Stout what I was made of because this is really his first time seeing me in person and just constantly showing that and just being critical of myself and technique, conditioning, dieting, and all that. And that definitely helped make the transition a lot smoother, being able to take the job and be a starter.
Well, I got a question. So I love to be able to have an opportunity to talk about our coaches because, one, I have a relationship with all of them. But two, like I know the impact of coaches on players and the impact of players on coaches. So give the audience a little bit plug of Coach Stud, how he runs his room, how he sharpened you, like how he really has changed. I mean, that culture has changed now.
Absolutely.
We got some dudes in there, right? And like, how did he do that, and how did he impact you guys?
I think one of the biggest things is he coaches out of love, and a lot of people, you know, can see him like yelling and being tough on us. And I mean, it's
like
all
Uncle Fester looking, you know, dude, yelling at people, gruff horse.
Yeah, it can take some getting used to, but you really realize where it comes from, and that he really does truly want the best for you. And so it's kind of just you have to get to that understanding that that's how he feels to really be able to be coached by him and get to that next level.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
So, that's it. That's all you got. You say for sure.
He's just like Coach Stud. He's like a one of a kind individual. He's just like a guy that like he'll get on you, like he said, out of love. But like when you do good, when you all do good, he'll never he'll always keep it the same. He'll never give you too much or too little. He'll always keep it the same. And you know, on the field, if you have an issue, say you're struggling pass protection or something you don't feel comfortable doing in the run game, he'll literally sit down with you and teach you some stuff that you had even no clue about. He just has like a constant like evolving toolbox, I guess, of different things. Because when I got there in pass protection, he taught me different like hand movements and stuff, and just being able to be under his tutelage and understanding his knowledge of the game is just like wow. Like, he's been around for a while,
big time.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
If
that's
you go in
one-on-one,
does he ever stop yelling? I've never heard like anything less than like the most intense sound coming out of his mouth.
When he leaves the wood, he stops yelling.
Yeah,
when we went over his house, like it was just like, all right, this is the Coach Stud that's at home with his wife and his dog and
his dog.
All right, about to let these offensive linemen have to eat here on Lettermen Live, brought to you by Roosters. So about to let them go, but Jonah, so about your 84 knockdowns, Branden said it's just easier at guard. Like the tackles aren't getting enough credit for that, and maybe it's skewed.
How many did you have?
I had like 40-something. Like
I just thought you might defend yourself.
I personally
not doing a lot of B blocks though out there.
Yeah.
I personally don't
believe
more space. That their job is harder getting knockdowns at because they're going against guys that are way lighter. We're going against guys that are our weight. You know what I mean? So,
speak it. I like this.
You know what I mean? So tackle. I'm not saying a lighter guy's easier to throw because some dudes are very strong and freaking nature.
They tend to be more athletic on the outside, so they can stay up.
But that's why you guys are out there because you're athletes. They don't think we're that great of athletes, so that's why you got to handle the business.
Right.
And if you get your hands on, you can do more than 84 knockdowns. I feel like if I was a tackle.
Okay.
The number would have gone up on the edge.
Wyatt's got me next year.
I'm kidding. Wyatt'll take the cake next year. He might blow it out of the water.
How far did you say you were ahead of Wyatt last year?
I was 4.
No, probably like 6 or 7.
Oh,
I like it. Guess what?
He was
they
right.
Keep
he
track.
was right there.
They keep track.
He was right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
He was creeping up my neck. week after week, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, those two's competition towards the end of the year was insane.
But it's all love, though.
For
it's
knockdowns.
just driving each other to make each other better. You know what I mean?
So since I'm such an amateur about this stuff, like, doesn't Josh Myers have the hardest part of getting knockdowns? He's got to worry about getting that snap off. And I mean, you might have similar stuff to the guard,
Right.
but how am I wrong here?
No.
Or where was Josh
not at all.
Myers in the
You're
top
right.
5?
He was. Me and Thayer were the last two for sure. I think it was Jonah, Wyatt, then Josh.
Yeah,
and
I
then,
think it was Josh, yeah.
And then me and Thayer.
Okay. So I'm going to go to bat there for the center. I'm going to go to bat for you not going to the
And now I
combine.
know this. Come on, Thayer. Let's get those numbers up dead last
He
year.
wasn't fully healthy. We don't have to talk
Okay,
about all that.
okay.
We're not supposed to talk all about that stuff. But
I think Thayer might have had more than me. but
Oh,
I
so
don't
you're
know.
last.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay.
I was probably
man.
last.
All
I don't know. I'll take that hit for him. I got him.
We'll check the math. He's back in spring ball. These guys are done. They're getting ready for NFL Pro Day at Ohio State in a couple weeks. Great to have Branden Bowen and Jonah Jackson hanging out with us. We got another segment coming to you live at Lettermen Row. Lettermen Live at Roosters. Easy for me to say. I'm obviously hungry. We'll be right back after this.
Roosters is one of the unique companies that we deal with. They're involved in everything we do, from our personal foundation to also the Cancer Research Fund. And that's from the Buckeye Cruise from Cancer to all the events leading up to the Buckeye Cruise.
They donate back to different organizations that are near and dear to their heart, and we're so fortunate to have been with Roosters now for a long, long time.
All the folks at Roosters are just genuinely kind folks, and they want to make a difference.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
All right, welcome back. We changed it out. We got those offensive linemen.
Look, they took all of our food.
I know.
Ate
right?
it all.
You
Hold
can
on,
tell-
let me get a stool here, and then it'll look normal. Yeah,
You can tell that we
big.
had Branden Bowen and Jonah
Goodness.
Jackson here. The food is gone.
Except for mine, because I'm ending my fast
Here it is.
right now.
Schlegel-
End
Boom.
fast.
Schlegel is
Happy
looking for another
emoji.
partnership.
Get the mac and cheese bites.
Boom.
Yeah,
I was already at Trails West getting my truck fixed today. My guys.
We're going to reload
The
here.
best.
You know about
Get some mac
Trails
and
West.
cheese bites.
Come
You,
on.
you know Trails West? You know
Yeah.
Ryan? They're the
Come
best,
on.
man. Yeah, absolutely. I got a cap for the back of my
I'm
truck.
about to say you had a tunnel cover or something.
Yeah, I'm looking sexy.
All right.
This guy.
This show is brought to you by Roosters. We got the normal crew back out here. Justin Zwick and Mike Doss with me. And Schlegel as he attacks and dominates that Italian sub. My goodness. Boys, we're through 1 week of spring ball, and I told you how much I look forward to it. Week 1 was still pretty entertaining and interesting for Ohio State. The bad news, day 1, Master Teague goes down. He's got a torn Achilles.
Well, it's officially torn.
Ohio State doesn't make anything official. Multiple sources have told Lettermen Row that Achilles is torn.
That's bumpy.
He has had surgery on that already, so that clock is ticking. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. I've thought about this 100 different ways, and I'm trying to wrap my mind around the running game, the ground game, the running backs, because Marcus Crowley's going to be out till the summer.
Yep.
They still have Steel Chambers, but right now he's the only scholarship tailback. I think by the summer you get Mayan Williams. He's the freshman, and then you're going to have Crowley. You're going to have 3 backs by then. I don't know when Teague is going to officially be back.
If he's back.
If he's back this year. We've seen the last couple of years that Tough Borland and Justin Hilliard both had that injury in spring and played in the season. Were they 100%? That's probably debatable for what Tough Borland dealt with in 2018.
And he plays running back.
Yeah.
Right.
And so
Plays running back.
this is a big deal for Master Teague specifically. And a long-winded way of me saying I'm not convinced that it's some sort of death knell for the ground game. And
No,
my
not
reason
at
for
all.
that, and you guys tell me how wrong I am or am not. I didn't feel like they were going to build the whole thing around Master Teague anyway.
Correct.
Because of what you have, with Crowley, who I'm really high on when he's healthy. But you've also seen last year what they did with J.K. Dobbins is he could do everything. Okay, so they phased out some of the end arounds, fly sweep, jet sweep, the pop passes that, something like Paris Campbell or Curtis Samuel did. I thought those were going to come back in the offense anyway, and Justin Fields is going to run. So am I right or am I wrong? Everything is going to be fine.
Again, it's still Ohio State, so you don't know who's still on that depth chart that could come in, move a guy around. You still got Jalen Gill, who was a Columbus legend, so you can piece some guys around, and obviously Zach Bourne moved around at a point in time and played a little bit of from running back to defense. So there's opportunity.
Running back, him.
Loosely. He's using that loosely.
If he's on this show, he was a fullback.
That term was loosely used right there.
Just because he's our guy.
He's our guy, though. He's our guy, though. Shout out Zach
My
Bourne.
guy.
But I think, there's you got some receivers. We go with a one-back set. You got some guys with talent. Just put the ball in their hand, right? So at the end of the day, how are we gonna manifest that by putting the ball in a talented player's hands and just letting them, be a football player.
Yeah.
So that's what, Coach Day will be working on this offseason, kind of figuring out, like you said before, end arounds, reverses, receiver screens, things like that, where we just want to put the ball in our playmakers' hands and then, and do work that way.
And they may, you move McCall around a little bit. Maybe he's going to be a guy that starts going across and getting those little pop passes or whatnot. I don't want to – it's going to come off wrong.
No, do it. Make it come off.
I kind of like – it sounds so bad to say. We have so many receivers and a second-year quarterback that I think for it to happen right now is not as bad of a thing. Silver lining. Yes. That they are going to get all these extra reps. They're going to get all these young guys that are here now, and they're going to throw them in the fire. And listen, we only have one scholarship running back. We can't, use his legs all spring long. We're going to have to change our offense a little bit here. Yeah. And I think that's going to give, Justin Fields, hey, we're going to let you run this thing, and we're going to be putting the ball in the air. We're going to, I think springtime is a perfect time for that, to let these guys get that experience, to get with him, and just be an air raid type offense. I think that's something that maybe they are looking at, trying to, put into the system right now, and then come, training camp. Yeah. Who's healthy? What do we have? Right. You can kind of put it in a running back, because running backs, they run downhill. Yeah. All right, you hit this hole, you hit that hole. You just need somebody. It is the way. That's just what they do. But getting guys in routes and getting on the same page with the quarterback, I think, is huge. And so you're getting a lot more of that here this spring because of the injuries. Yeah. And I think it's just going to help this team out come fall camp.
And here's the deal: Dwayne Train had over 50 passes, right? And we weren't really running the ball as efficiently as we were this last season, absolutely, right? And we still won a lot of games. Mm-hmm. And the number one thing about our running game, to me, is yes, we're missing these two men grown men that we just had, but that offensive line is another level.
Yes.
And with the two positions that they're battling for, I think they're going to be really good players. And we saw what that offensive line can do, really, regardless. Even Master Teague had 750 yards outside of what J.K. did. So the fact that you can get a lot of production out of the running back position behind that offensive line, you're talking about 1,500 yards, that's great. It's still going to keep the defense honest, because you have enough weapons. But like to Justin's point, the fact that you have the opportunity to get the timing down and the relationship with the quarterback during this time is fantastic. Plus, those guys don't take a lot of abuse like you would with our guys up front, right? So our guys in the offensive defensive line will probably get more reps of the one-on-one pass pro type things up as opposed to inside drill, right? You still got to do it to get the fits, but there's not going to be as much of that, right? So so it's all good. Guess what? Buckeye Nation, go Bucks, man.
And what we didn't add, I don't know if you touched on it earlier, you still got the transfer portal. You got a transfer portal where –
Beat me up, Scotty.
I mean, unfortunately, it's going to be some guys who maybe fall off this spring or think they don't want to be here, they don't have a chance, and they might say, hey, let me transfer before fall. And that opens up scholarship or two, and then here you go. You got a guy coming in from wherever.
Or a young cat that didn't get the starting job that came in and said, hey, that's kind of what they do in the South. Hey, man, you're going to be our starting running back. Oh, the junior decided to stay, and he's our guy. And now you got to sit a year. Well, guess what? I'm taking my bags to Columbus. Well, that could potentially happen.
Imagine, I had this conversation with somebody in the Woody last week that if they pass this legislation that allows for the one-time transfer, that with no sitting out, we're not just talking about graduate transfers. Then it's possible that rule could be immediately applied in April, and
that's a game changer.
If you have free agency, and look, we're talking to Jonah Jackson. They had the obvious fit, and he had the graduate transfer. They recruited him. They got that. It was a perfect home run. You don't usually see that with transfers that can do that. But if you have Ohio State running back is one of the most famous positions in college football.
Yes, it is.
And if suddenly anyone in the country
can come here,
could take that role and say, well, J.K.
I can be a part of that team.
I mean, think about I'm not saying that is going to happen, but it could happen. Oh. And think how crazy that would be if any running back anywhere.
That coaching staff's going to be taking applications if that happens.
Here's the number one.
Because no running back in the country is going to look at Ohio State and say,
no way.
I don't want to play with that team. Like, they're going to be like, get me on that team. They should have won the national championship last year.
Put me in the backfield.
Yes.
And that offensive line.
But hang on. Here's the deal. Before everybody gets juiced up about the transfer portal.
You can't throw a wet blanket on
come on.
No. But here's
Dominic.
the thing, though. Here's the thing. I like it, but the number one thing they're going to be looking for is culture over talent.
Right.
Yes.
Because
are you
obviously, Jonah Jackson being a grad transfer, understanding who that young man is, of which we got to talk to, he fits the mold that we wanted at Ohio State. He fit the culture, right? Justin Fields comes in. He won over the guys through mat drills. Now, whoever comes in on a transfer portal after spring ball is not going to have that luxury. He's going to have to come in during the Maymester, which they're still going to class, getting a scholarship check. But it's not as grueling as the mat drills to really test the mettle. So they'll have to earn it before camp during summer conditioning. But you can only do that if you believe that guy can get it done and compete or potentially win that job. Because the number one thing of all of this is the foundation of the culture of the program, right? I just can't take a dude off the street.
I don't know.
No, that's one.
I don't think you're just taking anybody, though. I think you're going to be able to.
He might be really good. Here's the deal. He might be really good. He might be a 5-star, as Berm likes to talk about all the time. Guy that went to a place, got beat out.
Berm's taking a beating on this show.
He doesn't fit the requirements for the culture and the brotherhood at Ohio State. And guess what? You pass on them, and you say, you know what? I'd rather go with these guys that we got, right? That's how it works. Or why didn't we take this guy over that guy? That guy fit. Though you think he's a 4-star guy as opposed to a 5. That guy fit and could add value. We want him.
We just saw what the linebacker coach said about, that room, how the older guys are helping the young guys. It's like something he hasn't seen before. The brotherhood, and this is our team. We got to make this as best, the best we can. So, that's different. Coming in late like that would be tough, but I still think, if you had a big-time running back, want to come in, he's going to get it. He's either going to get on board or he's going to get out, right, Schlegs? That strength staff will have him ready to rock.
You still got the summer, right? You got all of that to earn respect from your teammates. You learn the way of the Buckeye Nation, Buckeye way. But I think the biggest thing is it may be a kid who just finished his freshman year somewhere. It's like, man, I picked this school over Ohio State. I thought this was going to be different. I realized, or my coach just left.
My coach just left. Come on, that's real.
Exactly. My coach just left. Oh, man, if there's a chance to come to Columbus with a no penalty transfer, you're going to have 25 applicants from day one, if not 100. 25.
And that's the tricky part because, if that rule has to change first, and there's a lot of hesitancy from coaches to allow that sort of free agency to happen. So we'll see. There is a lot of support for players to have that too. You guys know that all of this stuff has been shifting in favor of the players, but it would really dramatically open up the options for Ohio State to potentially fill that void at running back if anyone anywhere can transfer in. Because if you're just looking at graduate transfers at running back, there aren't a lot of. There's not a Jonah Jackson waiting for the
wings. You're a guy that's like, where'd you play? And
because they already left. Yeah,
exactly. Why'd it take you this long to get to the?
Well, that's the thing. If you get all these applicants, you're saying, all right, well, do I want a guy who's just jumping ship on his own team, or jumping ship on that, 4 years that he promised these guys, type thing.
Right.
So, it does have to be the right fit to Schleg's point, but I think there'll be enough of them where they can dig into, what kind of guy are they, and figure out one that could be a right fit.
Yeah, and what's key is scholarship opportunity, right? Like I said, we look at the roster and say, how many true scholarships do we have to even offer? So if it's just one, are you waiting for a guy or there's a guy on the cuff of eligibility? Do we want to keep this guy? Because scholarships got to get signed every year.
Right.
So it's not that, you got 85 scholarship kids, but every year they get evaluated to be if you're still going to be part of this Buckeye Nation. So at that point.
And I feel like nowadays you don't need a guy who's been in a system for 4 or 5 years. You don't need that older guy. These guys are coming in playing as freshmen. It's just different like nowadays, You get a young guy. The kid coming in this summer, the Williams kid. I called one of his games last year, the state championship. He was a baller. He was he was a tough tackle, and I know he's cut some weight and he's looking good coming in. He could be a guy that could surprise him this summer, saying, "Man, we got somebody right here that we could throw in and rely on."
Here's a question. So I'll throw Berm one bone on that one though. He predicted that Mayan Williams would be the starting running back in the fall.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So he's standing over there in the wings.
Whoa, my guy.
Good. Okay.
He's rocking a Homage sweatshirt.
Jump in here.
He said it before everything.
He said it before the.
And he's got a really sweet Homage sweatshirt on there.
So,
like
but here's a question: in the sense of, what if there's a guy who planned on graduating in December to enroll in January next year early, right? And he has the chance to hear this news. He can load his summer school schedule up and say, hey, I know I only needed 4 credits. Can I graduate and be potentially enrolled in August?
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother ballgame. Yeah. Whole nother ballgame.
Boy, you're
this
has been the hypothetical.
It's just going.
My mind is blown right now.
You take that yoga class, this spring, so you can graduate early.
That's MBOE right there.
Yeah.
MBOE, Fisher College of Business.
Right.
This guy.
If there's a guy Ohio State's looking at in 2021, and this guy only really needs 5 credit hours, to, technically for
instead of stretching that out, you take it all at once.
Now I've got something to ask.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: these mac and cheese bites on this Italian
sub.
Do you eat dinner when you go home tonight? That's what I want to know.
It's amazing.
Look at
this, man.
Calorie burn.
He just tried the pickle chip before that. He's experimenting.
I am. I'm trying it out. Listen, man.
We got a new sandwich for you. Mac and cheese bites.
I go to Roosters all the time. Like I only rep the brands that I love.
That's right.
And I love this.
My goodness. It's a new. That'll be the
Schlegel.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say with Mike's hypothetical situation here, that gives me something to actually think about and ask, because Berman and I are about to hit the road for a little recruiting swing. We're going to see a couple running backs in the next couple of days.
Okay.
Just the way it coincidentally worked out. So that'll be some content there. But beyond running back, Jay-Z, you talked about the wide receivers and how quickly they might acclimate and maybe feature like – those 4 dudes that we saw last week they look ready to go to me.
Wow.
Yeah. Jackson Smith and Jigba made a bunch of plays. Julian Fleming had a little bit of a rough start on Monday. It's the one open practice we saw.
Yep.
But he is as physically ready as you could possibly be. This is spot your quarterback. You're trying to develop some chemistry. Like, how much can you get out of these 15 workouts? How much do those wide receivers need to get out of it?
God, that's tough. I mean, you get a bunch out of it, but you can only have so many receivers on the field at one time, so they're only going to get so many runs with the ones or this, that type of thing. I think this is a time where this is what we expect. When we're practicing, this is how we practice. Yep. This is what we need to be doing. And then once spring ball is done, now you guys knew how practice goes. This is how our workouts go this summer. And I think that's more where they're going to be one-on-one. Justin Fields is going to say, hey, listen, when we call this play, they got this coverage. I need you doing, being here on this spot. And then that's where they just rep
Or you see
and
that
rep
tricky
and
hand
rep.
signal and he's
yeah,
like, look.
exactly. Justin gives that look out there.
Right.
When he has a certain coverage when they're doing 7-on-7. For those young guys to be able to get that kind of feel, that's where they're going to – and then they go on the field in the fall. They've done this. They've repped it all summer long. Yeah. He gives them that look. Yeah, we're going to go up top this time. And, it doesn't need to be a hand signal. It's just and you get the ball. So I think the summer is going to be more for those guys working with him just because it's so tough to get everybody reps. There's a lot of receivers. There's guys coming back. You got these young guys. I think in the summertime, one-on-one stuff with the quarterbacks is where you're going to see chemistry. Yeah.
There was some conversation last week. So you're talking about the guys coming back. We know what Chris Olave is going to do, as motivated as he is. But Garrett Wilson was running a little bit in the slot, and I think people were surprised. But I'll just speak for myself.
I like him on the outside.
I was surprised by that, but
he's a matchup nightmare. I mean, that's the thing about it. No matter most college defense.
Would you like coming down to play?
No,
play coverage on that guy in the slot.
Exactly. Safety, nickel. Most colleges have like a small 5'10", 5'9" nickel back, and the guy in the slot. You got Garrett Wilson coming up, like 6'3", 6'4". Like, what's up? I'm here. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's a matchup nightmare.
Especially if you have those younger guys who can throw outside. The big guys. So you bring this playmaker inside. I mean, just matchup nightmares all over the place.
Plus, it's good. Here's the other thing. It's good that they all know how to play
every position.
Position. One, it's only going to make them better at the pro level. But two, they add more value now, right? Because things are going to happen. There's going to be an injury in the wide receiver room. Somebody else is going to have to step up. And plus, you want those reps. Guess what? If I can add more value and know more positions, guess what? I'm going to probably play more because I make plays. Boom, ain't rocket science.
I like Michael Thomas. I mean, the Saints move that guy around as much as possible.
Sure.
So
give him the rock.
We're gonna figure it out.
All right, you guys know I try not to just pigeonhole you into one position, but Doss, this was supposed to be the spring for Josh Proctor. He had a little bit of a shoulder issue, got that cleaned up, so he's not out there. He's supposed to be the next starter at safety. He's not getting the spring reps.
Right.
Is that a concern for you? Is that fine?
I mean, as Jay-Z said, it's about, learning the new secondary. Like, now you got a new coach back. He's not getting reps with that coach. It's like, okay, he's trying to fill, Coach Combs out. Like, oh, man, I'm trying to earn his trust. So you got a little bit of that, like, uncomfortable feeling where you're
How do you earn
meetings.
that trust now when you're not on the field?
So you earn that trust by you in every meeting. You're still meeting with him in private. Anytime, out of Class A coach, I'm watching the film of the current guys.
Taking some of these younger guys in there with you kind of thing?
Taking some of the younger guys in there, but then you learn from the guys actually getting the reps. What is your expectation? So when I do get back out, now I can work on these things. They'll get those mental reps. And the biggest thing, you said, is like Coach Combs comes in with a clean slate. He's like, hey, who wants to make plays? And he's going to start circling guys.
Who wants to be my guys?
Yeah, who wants to be my guys? I need 4 or 5. I need 6 guys, really. You need about 6 guys that you can circle and say, okay, I can throw this guy here. I can move this guy over here. Wade's played nickel. He's played safety. He played out. Now he's back to the outside. Hey, Proc, what do you really want to do for our defense? You know what I mean? So he's kind of in that. He's going to have to just get ready.
Kind of limbo. I mean, you'd rather get those live reps, I would imagine, just as any position.
But don't let a freshman
you got to be taking care of yourself. On the sideline, whatever it is, watching that position, say, all right, this is what I would do right here, and then
and coaching those guys up too. Like if you going one-on-one with Coach Combs, you're learning it. As you see the young guys in there and getting the reps, you still try to coach from show that leadership, right? Show that true, hey, this is my job. No, someone's going to physically have to come take it from me, and since I'm not on the field. But as a freshman, an incoming guy right now, I'm like, whoa, I get all these reps. I'm getting all these reps. Hey, ball
looking
to
your
the
chops
wall.
right now, saying,
looking at my chops.
This is my spot.
Yeah, because you want to make – and that's what we talked about with Branden, because they had a battle last year, and it was like, at the end of the day, the brotherhood, I'm making you better, you're going to make me better. He's getting better right now by understanding the game from a coaching perspective.
Yes.
Right, I'm getting the mental reps, and I'm also able to articulate that, because I have to be able to articulate that to my coach on the sideline when I have an in-game adjustment, right? So he's already working on that. If these young cats come in and perform well, guess what? I'm going to go out and have to prove that I'm leaps and bounds ahead of these guys. Like that's what really hurts you from this time. This is a time that where you can really solidify your position. However, guess what? Come back. Be full tilt. Make sure you take care of your body.
Yep.
You've learned the game
100%.
better. You can speak it better.
Yes.
Right? And now I'll go out there and let my play show exactly where I stand on this team. And then, and it doesn't take a lot for them to do that. It will be a very small window. All right, nope, that's our guy. And now we're going to start forcing those reps. When they know, they know.
Yes.
All right, there's still a long way to go in spring. 12 practices. It's long and short, I guess. It's so weird. It's
the long
15.
and short of it.
You have 3 last week. You're already 20% of the way done, but
now they're all on spring break, partying down in Daytona Beach, right?
Which is amazing.
Is that what the kids still do?
Why didn't we ask them about?
You got to be on guard for coronavirus, though. You had some tips for your
dude,
spring
listen,
break.
everybody out there. First off, wash your hands.
Hand sanitizer is not the same as washing your hands.
Exactly, wash them. Right. 2, make sure you hydrate your face off. Right, I'm drinking right now lemonade
Too much
and
sugars.
sweet tea. That's okay. It's my one a day, but I hydrate my face off. Right. 3, work out. So I tell my body what to do.
Yes.
I'm going to sweat this stuff out, right? And 4,
bend your knees.
That was going to be my 5. But anyways, hey, listen.
Flat back. I had to try and
if somebody wants to cough at you, somebody wants to cough, boom. I'm like freaking Matrix over here because my knee. I have soft knees. I'm ready to go. And the last
Get the vice president on the phone. We got this thing figured out.
Last thing, I can't help. Listen, I got 2 pads. I can't invent coronavirus testing kits. I wish I could.
Right.
I probably could if I gave me some money. I would do it. But number 5, listen, you have to sleep because everybody's walking around like freaking zombies because they're all up watching The Bachelorette or whatever crap shows are on TV.
Netflix.
Right? Instead, they should be watching us right now. Right? Do it during the day while you're at work. That way, when you go home,
Rest.
you go to bed.
That's right.
Boom.
No.
And hydrate while you're sleeping.
That's true.
An IV.
I do have a question.
Bend your
though.
knees had to be number 4
I do-
because you can't bend them while you sleep. That's not going to help you.
Right.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. I like your picking one. I didn't really think it through,
I
but
do
those
have-
are my 5. Those are my 5.
Now, the coronavirus is serious. It's definitely serious. But at the end of the day, since October of 19 to February 1st, 22,000 people have died from the regular flu. So, we cannot, get this thing overly hyped.
Can't be hyped up, man.
Yeah,
It's hyped. The media's hyping it.
They pushing this thing.
Yeah, well, let's not do that on our show.
Exactly. Yeah,
We won't do that on our
Hey,
Plenty of rest and hydrate.
Go to Roosters, eat your face
Drink
off,
off.
hydrate, go home,
Rest.
sleep,
Work
and when
out.
you wake up, Work out, bend your knees, hydrate, eat Roosters, repeat. Boom. That's what you do.
On this show, you come in, you order an Italian sub, you put mac and cheese bites on it.
It was actually really good.
I can imagine. So you got
two wonderful things.
Yeah, merging together.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, we covered
symbolism.
Covered so much ground this week on Lettermen Live.
Symbology.
Brought to you by Roosters. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Anthony Schlegel, Justin Zwick, Mike Doss. Appreciate Branden, Bowen, and Jonah Jackson hanging out for the first time. I am just Austin Ward, and we'll be right back here next week for Lettermen Live at Roosters. See you then.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Lettermen Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and you know we got Buckeye IQ with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Berm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.